I do think the go-to thing for conservative grifters to do right now is to make fun of people setting themselves on fire, right? That is the new grift. That is the new con. That is the scam. The reason being that Aaron Bushnell came out and set himself on fire in protest of America's involvement in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, right? He was seeing what the Israelis were doing, and he didn't like it. So of course, he came out in support of Free Palestine, and of course, immediately the grifters, the quartering, Memology 101, you know, basically everyone. Okay, everyone came out in condemnation of him. Like everyone except me, because I understood the reality of the situation. Like I have been saying for a long time, like ever since this conflict started, like it does feel as if the left are in a position where they are going to exhibit real cultural change, right? They are going to be the group of people who are not willing to put up with Israel's bullshit, right? They are the people who are acknowledging that the Israelis are colonizers, that they are oppressing these people, that they are genociding them, and that is a bad thing, right? None of this cope I see on Fox News from journalists saying that, like, well, we have to protect Israel's interests. No, we don't. No, we don't. And it's becoming more and more clear to me that the people that the left have enabled over the past decade, in an attempt to destroy white supremacy, right? The people who have been told through their colleges and through their education systems, like through the propaganda, like, ooh, colonization is bad. Ooh, white people bad. Ooh, oppression bad. Ooh, genocide bad. Ooh, like these are the same people who are going to realize that what Israel is doing to the Palestinians is colonization, right? They are the people who realize that they are the people who are willing to acknowledge that the government's blind support of this our Pythian state is unjustified. Like Israel is not a legitimate state. So for me personally, like even someone like me who's like on the other side of the aisle, like it does feel in the sense that no matter what happens next, like the experiment has failed. Like the idea of creating like the model state, that could like influence the world culture, it's failed. Like the experiment has just completely collapsed. Like it's not going to work. All of their attempts at like subverting culture and controlling people through the media, through entertainment, through conflict, right? It just all collapsed in and around itself. And right now, like, and I think this has been true since like Trump was elected, like they've just been trying to do damage control, right? First it was dealing with white people in America, and now they have to deal with the monsters they've created, the SJWs. And in a lot of ways, I am 100% on the SJW side in regards to this specific issue, right? The reality is, there should be a lot more open discourse about what exactly the Israelis have done with that land and with that territory, what they have done to the people living there, right? In reality, there's a reason that Aaron Bushnell, who was stationed there, felt so strongly about what was happening there, to the point where he did like that viral stunt, that even now the conservative grifters are desperately trying to downplay, right? To me, it couldn't be more obvious that the culture is changing, that people are beginning to acknowledge the reality of certain issues, right? I'm seeing more and more people like speak out against homosexuality in particular. But I think secondly, people are beginning to realize that Jews can do things wrong. That maybe they're not always in the right, okay? Maybe there's a reason why people don't like them. Okay, so to me, like, that is becoming more and more like, that's becoming more and more well known. Okay, it's starting to seep into the public discourse, and after 2020, plenty of people are aware that like the government can rig elections, right? So to me, it does feel as if like they are losing every single one every single little piece of control they once had, right? They are completely finished. And right now, like I just think they don't they've been scared for a long time. They have been, but like they really, really they really don't know how to like put the pieces back together. Like they expect people will continue to be compliant, but no, it is going to get worse the next 10, 15 years. Like, I do anticipate like a complete rejection of woke culture and the political establishment very, very soon. Like, I don't think the people who are in control like really understand that everything is about to implode, right? I don't think they understand that they are not going to come out of this situation um, in control essentially. Like I do think all of their attempts at like controlling everything have just completely collapsed. So for now, we'll just have to wait and see like how things play out. But I do think the path forward is clear. I do think people are beginning to notice things and address certain issues, right? Like how exactly can you justify the Republicans' opposition or stated opposition to the Ukrainian conflict, and yet the completely unwarranted like bipartisan support for like Israel, right? Like if you've been paying attention at all, like you would notice like the dissonance there. Like you would notice just like the weird like reverence and worship of this like false state. But we will uh this will be the last generation, I think, where we deal with this kind of nonsense, right? Like the boomers are basically the only group of people who are keeping the old ways alive. And yeah, I think as they start dying off, they are going to lose a lot of their control to people who have like a better understanding of these kind of issues and are more willing to combat it and like address it and bring up like the elephant in the room, right? Like this the narrative that's been persisting for the past several decades has is quickly approaching its zenith, and I can't imagine that it will continue for much longer.